Titanfall 2 was released 3 years ago. It released at a very unfortunate time, between two major releases in fact. So today I'm going to be giving you, yes you, the insight on Titanfall 2 today, and whether the game is worth picking up and playing. And the answer is, well, I'm not just going to tell you the answer right off the bat, but feel free to stick around and find out. Let's just start off with a bit of exposition about Titanfall 2 and its initial entry into the gaming market. Those two releases that I previously mentioned were Infinite Warfare and Battlefield 1. Literally EA, who might I add owns both the Battlefield and Titanfall franchises, decided to put Titanfall 2 slap bang in the middle of their Battlefield 1 release and Activision's Call of Duty Infinite Warfare release. It was literally a poor move. It basically left Titanfall 2 to fend for itself. EA were most likely bagging on the old fans of the first game to pick up the new one, and hopefully they'd revitalise the player base progressively. Now, the campaign was primarily marketed in the promotional material for the game, and I'll get to the campaign shortly, but EA did not market the multiplayer aspect very much. For me, and many others, Titanfall as a franchise is dependent on that multiplayer. It was basically the only feature in the first game because, come on, online matches with characters speaking isn't exactly a campaign. Titanfall 2 was put in a very strange place after it released, but let's just take a step back and see where the game is today, where I now begin to voice my opinion on Titanfall 2 and whether it should be played in 2019. Titanfall 2 is a phenomenal game, and I noticed that in my Is Fallout 4 Worth Playing in 2018 video, a lot of comments were saying I used the word phenomenal a lot, so I'll try and hold back. I feel like starting with the campaign is the way forward, so let's go. Titanfall 2's campaign was a real blockbuster, full of eccentric and marvellous set pieces that really gave the story elements of the game a sense of real quality. The characters in Titanfall 2 have real weight to them. I feel like they were real people. Hear me out, especially BT7274, or BT for short. And I know that might sound strange because that character is a robot, but I really enjoyed his dry, witty and comical dialogue with sarcastic undertones. I don't know, it just really entertained me. But the main protagonist, Jack Cooper, doesn't really entertain me at all. He's a tad dry when it comes to character development. He's more of a generic soldier at the start of the game, but progressively as he bonds with BT, he does start to show his true colours. The enemies in the campaign, and I'm talking about the main antagonists of the game, not the standard soldiers and mechs on the ground who can beat the living daylights out of you on harder difficulties. Sorry, have a little bit of a grudge there. But characters such as General Marder. For me, he fell a bit flat. You don't really get why they're there, or what they're doing, or why they're doing anything. It's just shoot the people in blue, basically. Every time I got invested in a villain's character, I'd have to kill them off. It was quite a shame because that's how most first-person shooters play it off. Kill the main antagonist's associates until you reach the big bad boss at the end of the game. Alliteration. Still got it. But apart from that, the campaign is a thrilling and exhilarating experience, accompanied by the most fluid movement system in a game since the original Doom. The movement makes you feel free in both the campaign and also the multiplayer. And as I sneakily make my way into the multiplayer component of this game without anyone noticing, I'd like to say that there will most certainly be some crossover about the movement system as it is expanded on in the multiplayer. And so the multiplayer aspect of Titanfall 2 is a beast on its own. The fast-paced and rapid-fire gameplay is certainly welcome here. The maps are varied in their scale and also in their quantities of cover and open environments. The use of various pilot classes and abilities really defines how you play. For me, I play with the grappling hook as I like to be quite a mobile player who doesn't like to stay in one place for too long. But other abilities range from a pulse blade to scan nearby enemies, or a cloaking ability that renders you almost invisible. The player base for Titanfall 2 love the game and are loyal to it. And although the player base numbers are low, Respawn did see an increase of players in Titanfall 2 thanks to Apex Legends. And so now the player base is averaging around 5,000 concurrent players on each platform. That might not sound like a lot, but consider the fact that every game has AI characters anyway, and each match is usually only a 6v6, so in my personal experience, I have never had a problem getting into a game. When you do get into a game, it is a sight to behold. The graphics look beautiful and stylistic, with greys and blacks contrasting with the bright neon lights from your gun and also the player's helmets. You get a real rush when playing Titanfall 2. The gameplay isn't slow like Call of Duty's, and the fast-paced action always has you on your toes. And even when you get killed, the respawn, no pun intended, is instant. And then BAM! You're back into the fight to fight another day. But where the gameplay really heats up is where the Titans come into play, and they fall to the ground with a big stomp. You can choose 3 options from this point. You can get in your Titan and play until it's destroyed, have the Titan follow you round the map whilst you can be anywhere, and finally, you can have your Titan roaming around the map, killing any enemies in sight, AI or otherwise. Overall, the multiplayer alone is a sell for me. I'd 100% recommend the game for multiplayer alone. It's just that fun and replayable. And the campaign is a bonus too. If I could convince everyone that I know to get this game, it would be an unfathomable experience. I genuinely don't think I'd leave my room. I'm not even joking. I would rate this game as having my favourite multiplayer ever. I could not rate this game any higher. I love the aesthetic, the pace, and of course the variety of playstyles. In Call of Duty or Battlefield or any other first-person shooter in general, they only give you variations in guns. But Titanfall 2, you have different mechs with multiple abilities, and the same goes for your pilot. You can play exactly how you want. No ifs and no buts. That's what I love about Titanfall 2. I'd rate it an 8 out of 10 easily due to its multiplayer. If you get the chance to pick up this game, then that is fantastic. And you could technically pick up this game for cheap if you went to a second-hand game store. The game is dirt cheap anyway at this point, so you'd be snatching up a bargain in my eyes and picking up a very worthwhile game. So that was my review on Titanfall 2, and whether it is worth playing in 2019. But hey, that's my opinion, and I'd love to hear all of yours in the comments below. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy, then subscribe and turn on that notification button so you don't miss another upload from me. So thank you, and goodbye.